Hey, this is Barath from the NotBrad podcast where you escape your day job. This week we have Kate.
Hi.
How's your mug?
My mug's pretty good. Thank you for asking. It is one of my favorite mugs, actually. I think one of my parents gave it to me, maybe?
One of them?
One of them. I don't remember which one. One of the one that, created me gave me this mug. It's, I'm actually from Newfoundland, so it has the flag.
It's got the little flag.
There.
I didn't even know it had a flag.
What, the province or the mug?
Both, I guess. Because the Ontario flag is so not impressive.
No, it's not. The
so
province that has the best flag is New Brunswick. It's a Viking ship.
That's really cool.
It is really cool. Sorry Newfoundland, but it is my favorite flag. So I'm very jealous of my sister because that is her birth flag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's that Ontario one. I don't even know what it looks like. I remember seeing it, and it left zero impression on me, which leads me to believe I hate it.
Well, because it's kind of similar to some of the other provincial flags. It's got a red background, and I think it has 3 maple leafs that are intertwined. But then I'm pretty sure that Manitoba's is really similar. It also has a red background, and there's like a buffalo on it or something like that. So they kind of do look really, really similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To all our international fans, we're Canadians.
Yes.
The first episode.
If you can't tell by our accents there, we're Canadian.
Yeah, exactly. So this show is a passion project, and I hope it goes well. But we have a bunch of different things that we're going to be doing, and you'll see all of them, and you'll hopefully love them. But anyway, we were talking about musicals the other day.
Yes. When am I not talking about musicals?
Yeah,
let's be honest.
They are pretty good. You and Lori are actually the ones who got me into them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
It was, Lori showed me Avenue Q. It was one. She showed me the music from it with all the hilarious racism and whatnot in it.
Yep. Sesame Street for adults.
Yeah, pretty much. Muppets and everything. It's great.
Yeah. But, some real people thrown in there, too.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good one. Their songs were hilarious. It's like a comedy musical. It's not like Phantom of the Opera or whatever. Which we saw.
Yes, which was excellent. I'd only ever seen the movie Phantom of the Opera and listened to the soundtrack from, way back, like the West End production.
Yeah.
I'd never seen it live, and I was so impressed by that set.
The set was so cool.
It was the best set I've ever seen for any
amazing.
Show. It was so good.
The chandelier or whatever? Oh my god, it was so cool.
I knew that was coming, and it still scared me.
I love it. I'm not going to spoil it because it was amazing, and you should go see it.
Although chances are, you probably know what we're talking about. This is not a new musical.
I actually have never seen it.
What?
That was the first time I've ever seen Phantom.
That's amazing.
I think one time I saw it in French because we had to do the play in school.
Okay.
But I didn't understand any of it because I don't speak French.
That's fair. It's kind of an odd choice then.
I had to take it. I mean, we live in Ontario. Another part of our international listeners won't understand. But we have to take French.
Yep. I mean, I didn't mind so much.
Do you speak French?
I do. Oh. I'm actually fluent in both languages.
I did not know that.
I did French immersion from kindergarten all the way up until high school.
When you were so was English your only English class?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
When you're in French immersion in elementary school, for the first couple of years, because they really want to immerse you, and they know that chances are you're not speaking French at home.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Most French immersion kids are coming from Anglophone families. You don't do English class until grade 3 or 4. So
you don't
do English class until grade 3 or 4. It's all about learning French, and so everything's in French: math, science, social studies.
So when you do
gym is in French.
What's run? Écoute? No, it's listen.
Run? Courir.
Courir.
Means
That's
to
what
run.
Yeah, there it is. That's a lot of.
It's a lot.
I would not have survived that.
It's interesting, and then once you get into grade 3 or 4,
that's when you start.
That's when you start, and English class becomes a big deal.
You're so excited
because you're allowed to speak English in class. Because you get penalized. A lot of schools, if you spoke English in your classes, you get into trouble because you're supposed to be only speaking French. Obviously, they weren't going to monitor during lunch, so lunch was this huge weight was off everybody's shoulders.
And that was people actually loved it. Everyone loved lunch.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Because in our school, I was in regular school. I don't know, regular English school, not in
regular public school.
Yeah, not in immersion. Well, I was in Catholic school.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that I didn't know.
Yeah, I went to
learning so much today.
very close to here, because this is the house we grew up in.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, it was like it's walking distance. So I went to that school, and it was just like French was French. That's it. But when I got to high school, also religion was in French.
Really?
Yeah, I was in like extended. Is that what it's called? It's like the one that's not no French and the one that's not immersion. It was like the middle one. Yeah. So we had world religions in French. So I know a lot about a lot of religions, but only in French. So do you do math in your head in French?
Well, no, now I do math in my head in English. But yeah, when I was in elementary school, because all the terms you learn for like equations or like especially in science class, like any of the terminologies for like, stuff in the lab.
Yeah, like
was
iron
all French.
And stuff.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I don't know what this is in English. Like it got to a point because
you had a periodic tableau.
Yeah. Yeah. But it got to a point where I'd come home from school and had questions about homework. And I would have to try my best to translate for my parents so they could help me.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Our kids won't have that problem, though, because my fiance is a francophone. So he'll be able to understand, and I'll be able to understand.
I also didn't know that about him.
You did not know that about him. Yeah, French is his first language. And it's funny because...
That makes sense, actually, from how much swearing he does in French. Yeah. That totally makes sense.
Yup. And like he has no accent when he speaks English,
no,
but when he actually gets to speaking French, it's like the thickest like Franco-Ontarien accent, and it's nuts. And his mom's side of the family is all like that.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, so we go to family reunions. Oh yeah, she's a francophone.
Does she speak English?
Yeah.
Just like heavily accented?
Not heavily accented because she's spoken English for a very long time.
Oh, that makes sense.
But you can notice a little bit of an accent when she's talking, for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
With the last name Jackson, I just wasn't good. But I guess it's his mom's side.
Yeah, his mom's maiden name was La Jeunesse, which is like as French as they
come. French. That's pretty French. Yeah.
Yeah, but his dad's an Anglophone and was when they met. And so he can kind of understand French now when they go to family reunions.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't think he's comfortable enough speaking French.
Yeah. I feel like I'm the same way with my parents' language.
Yeah?
We speak Telugu at home, which is a provincial Indian language. And, I can understand it. Because my dad speaks English to me and my brother, because they never taught us.
Really?
Yeah. They didn't teach us language. I think they might have tried for like a week. And we're like,
gave up.
We're over this. But my mom always speaks it to us. Always. So we have learned to understand it. My brother's better than me. Like, he can actually speak a little.
Okay.
And, like, maybe... No, you can't write. The writing's just lines. It was tough. But he can speak it a little. When we went to India, he was way better off than I was. He could actually have conversation and stuff.
Oh, wow.
But, like...
Is he older than you?
Yeah. 3 years older than me.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I guess he had a whole 3 years on me to learn more, but...
That
time has passed for my life, and I still don't know anymore.
Well, they say the best time to learn a language is like within the first 5 years of your life because you're like a sponge with learning new things, especially languages.
I heard that it was actually... That's true. But I also heard that like it's not good to learn multiple languages at that age. Because you put them all in the same place. Like, in your head. So, like, you make one big language out of it as opposed to, like, being like, this part's French, this part's English, this part's Arabic or whatever, this part's German, yeah.
I can actually attest to that personally, from personal experience. Because in university, part of the graduation requirement from my program was you had to take another language. I'm like, well, I've already done French my whole life. I could just, take the easy way out and just continue to do another year of French. But I've always been curious about Spanish, and it's pretty close.
It's pretty,
it's pretty similar. A lot of Latin-based languages are really similar. And so I took a year of Spanish, and I discovered that in my head, I classified language as English and not English. It wasn't just English and French, it was English and not English. And I'd find myself, when I wasn't sure what a word was supposed to be in Spanish, I would slip into French words. I'm like, well, I'm not speaking in English, so it counts, right? It's fine.
You've getting close enough, probably. They just be like, your conjugation might be off, but like, aren't most words similar?
A lot of words are similar. I wouldn't say like all words are similar, but there was definitely similarities. I couldn't tell you which ones right off the top of my head.
I know that pineapple is.
Yeah.
It's like N and N and N and N with an E at the end or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like in French, I speak like a person you would speak. You know, everyone has broken English, like immigrants and stuff. They come to the country, they learn the language, and their English isn't perfect. I feel like that's what it's like when I speak French. That's exactly what it's like when I speak French. I like my conjugation's off, so I'd say like a past tense word in the middle of a future sentence.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, it's close enough.
Yeah.
I wasn't good. I wasn't good at French.
You know what? I think a lot of people some people are better at languages than other people. And maybe it would have been different for you if you had done immersion where like you did not have a choice. You had to speak French all the time.
Probably, because even in French class, it was mostly English. Like, everyone was just like...
Yeah.
Everyone was an English thinker, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone thought in English, so that's all that whenever we helped each other, it was all in English.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Immersion is definitely a very different story.
That's crazy.
I remember one teacher, she had this system set up where if she caught you speaking English, she'd given everybody out like tickets, or in French it's les billets. So she'd hand those out, and at the end of the year, you could like exchange them for like prizes that she'd bought. So the idea was you're supposed to be well behaved and not speak in English, and if she caught you speaking in English when you weren't supposed to, she'd go, un billet. And you had to hand one over.
That's
brutal. So she was watching, and a few of my teachers did that. Another one did like a fake money, and he called them francos.
Okay.
And so you could also call out other students if you heard them speaking in French, which was way nastier.
Wow, that's brutal.
Yeah, and like some people would say, "Oh, c'est quoi le mot pour téléphone en anglais?" So what's the word for telephone in English? And you go, telephone. They go, Franco, tu as besoin de me donner un Franco. It was like, what is wrong with you? That is not cool, man.
They all just got vicious?
Yeah. Oh, it got really vicious. Like, because we were also in grade
prison
3 at that time. Just when, kids are like, hey, I can be a little bit of a jerk if I want to.
Yeah. My
parents aren't here to stop me, so.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
The ticket idea is good, though.
Yeah, it definitely reinforced the whole, you gotta be well behaved. Yeah. And I was a perfectionist, so I was like, I never want to lose a BA ever in my whole life.
Except for all your parking BAs.
Yeah, oh my gosh. We've had the worst luck with that.
Parking tickets are the worst.
Oh my gosh.
I got so many. Hopefully no one at the Canadian DMV, whatever that is. What's it called? Department of Vehicles or something?
Something? Motor vehicles?
That's the DMV, but I don't know. Whatever the Canadian one's called. I don't remember. It's not the DMV.
Service Ontario.
That's it. Service Ontario. That's the name of it. When you go to fight a ticket, have you ever done that?
No.
If you go to fight a ticket, you go to the city, like one of the city centers, and you just wait there. You say you want to fight this ticket, and you just wait until they call you in. They'll call you in. The lady who removed my last ticket said that they wouldn't do it for me anymore because I've been there too many times.
Oh my god!
She's like, I'll do this last one, but after that, don't come in. Either fight it in court or just don't come in.
Oh my gosh!
They usually just half it for you showing up.
Really?
Yeah, if you ever get a parking ticket, a parking ticket. I was gonna say or a real ticket, but I don't think that would work. But a parking ticket, definitely. Go there, and they'll just half it for you. Because
sometimes when we have gotten parking tickets, I'm like, that seems like a really weird rule, or that wasn't very clearly marked. Yeah. How are you supposed to know you can't park here if there's no sign that says you cannot park on this road that everybody parks on?
Yeah. Have you ever done the thing? I guess you haven't fought a ticket.
No.
But because I haven't done this, but I know people who
done what?
Where you get your parking ticket, but then you just drive a bit and then take a picture of where the car is. So like if there's like a parking zone like 100 feet down, or 100 meters away, just drive into it and then take a picture.
I would never do that.
Yeah. No, I've never done that, but I mean, people have heard.
You've heard of
it.
Heard of people doing that. Yeah.
All right, so we also have this thing that we do on this show, which is great. It's a hat. You can see it. Where we pull out a topic, and then that's what we talk about.
Sweet.
You want to do it?
I will do it.
Nice.
Let's see. Movies. I don't know if you can see this from here, but it says movies.
Oh, you can actually see that from there.
Oh, sweet.
Wild.
That's a good topic,
Great.
too.
Hashtag NotBrad. Just you may say that whenever you want. You ever see any good movies recently?
Yes, we saw Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, was that good?
So good. I'd never read the book.
Same.
I'd never seen any other versions of it, so this was my first time actually seeing, or I guess kind of following the story.
Yeah.
Really, really liked it. I have read some of Agatha Christie's other books that I've really enjoyed, so I'm glad that I enjoyed this one too. And the cast was very well put together.
It looked good, like from the trailer that I saw, but I don't know anything about it at all. Like, I didn't even know she wrote it.
Yeah?
I knew nothing about this.
Well, I'm not going to tell you anything about it, because for anybody who has somehow, like us, and I guess me up until 2 weeks ago, gone their whole lives and not heard anything about Murder on the Orient Express, go see this movie, because it's fun going in not knowing what to expect.
I feel like that's always the best.
Yeah.
There was one movie that was just, everyone said was so bad, and I went and saw it not knowing anything about it, and I came out blown away. And I don't remember. That's
not blown enough away to remember the name of the movie.
It's not an interesting fact about me. Although I did go to see Kingsman just based off of a person being like, hey, go see Kingsman.
Which one, the first one?
The first one.
Yeah, the first
and it was amazing.
Good. The first one was
so
pretty
good.
fun.
That movie was great.
Really enjoyed that one.
Second one? Alright.
And that's what I kept hearing. The second one just wasn't as good. And I'm like,
yeah,
well, you know what?
Like, Lori does not like the second one. She hated that movie.
Oof.
Yeah. I thought it was fine. But
I'll have to ask her later
why
she doesn't like it. Because chances are, if, her reasons align with mine, I probably shouldn't go see it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Me and Lori saw Coco.
How was that?
Really good.
Yeah?
Disney's so good. Everything they make is good. It was a Pixar. I think it was Pixar.
Do they own Pixar? I feel like they...
I think it was both, actually. I think they both were on that one.
Sweet. Did you have the Olaf short at the very beginning?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah?
Less good, but not awful. I don't know why everyone's freaking out about it.
Okay, yeah, because I keep hearing, like, oh, this is, like, the worst thing ever. I thought I was in the wrong theater.
It's not good, but, like, it's... Because it's about Olaf. He's, like, the worst character in Frozen.
Yeah, I'd rather see a whole short about Sven.
He was in it.
Was he? But, how much was he in it?
Pretty main. He was a pretty main character.
Oh, good.
It was like a him and Olaf adventure.
Aww.
Which I thought was weird, because Frozen's been out for long enough.
Yeah.
They hated each other.
Yeah,
Sven kept trying to eat his face.
Yeah, every time.
It doesn't make any sense. I remember thinking that in the theater, and I'm like, I'm 27 years old. What the hell is wrong with me? I care so much about this fake snowman and this fake reindeer. Ugh. It was a moment in my life where I was just like, I was embarrassed about my own thoughts. I was just like, why do I know that?
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
It was rough, but it was fine. Like, the actual short was okay. It was about him finding a Christmas tradition for Anna and Elsa or something.
Aw, okay. So, like, kids would like that.
Yeah. It's a cute thing.
Cute.
And it also would help parents be like, yeah, that's why we have a tradition. Now just do it, because we do it every year. But it was very clearly there to sell toys. Like, it's right before Christmas. There are toys of the short, like, stuff in the short, already out. It's, like, super obvious that they were just trying to make a buck.
Like, I love Disney so much.
Gotta get
Bothers
paid.
me sometimes how much of a cash cow they very obviously are.
Yeah. They make a lot of money. And they want to keep it that way.
Oh, yeah. Like, and I mean, I know there's divided opinions, but I don't necessarily... I'm not on the whole remaking the animated films into live action films bandwagon.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with it. People will want to watch it, and it's kind of cool seeing it and seeing, like, certain parts. But, like, the whole them being like, let's do all of them, I guess.
Yeah, like, we have no other ideas, so
I get Beauty and the Beast. Like, it's one of the most iconic ones.
But see, I hated it.
Really?
Yeah, I would have liked it so much more if they had not made it a musical, because they took some of the songs from the movie and they had some, like, interlude music from the actual stage production. And if you haven't seen the stage production, it's so good. The music is so good. The songs that they added for the Broadway production, just top notch.
Yeah.
And both Belle and the Beast each have their own song. The Beast song is called If I Can't Love Her, and it's fantastic. But they didn't use that song in the movie. They wrote him a different, blah,
Oh, they
forgettable.
wrote him one of them?
Yeah,
I thought that was from something.
No, they wrote that for him, and it's such a blah, forgettable song.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? You had this song you could have chosen and put in the movie, and you didn't. And I'm like, is it because he can't sing all that well?
Probably.
But then, if you're going to make
a musical, get music, like, people that can sing.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Emma Watson was a great Belle. But I cringed during all of her songs because she was so clearly auto-tuned, especially when you compared her to the wardrobe, who's a trained classical singer. It is painfully obvious that Emma Watson was auto-tuned.
Yeah.
And, like, it would have been a different form of the story that I would have been very on board for if they had just not made it a musical.
Yeah.
It would not have been distracting that way.
But every Disney movie has to have music.
I know.
It has to have music.
Although they're redoing Mulan and they're not making that a musical.
Really?
Yeah.
Does Mulan have a lot of songs? I haven't seen that in ages.
Yeah, like
I know the
I'll Make a Man Out of You.
I know that one, but is that the only one?
Reflection.
So there are like a bunch. There's like a regular like 7 or whatever they put in that movie. Okay. Yeah, I never saw Beauty and the Beast.
The live action one or
the original.
Okay, well, I will lend it to you because it's really good.
I'm told I need to.
It is very good.
I haven't seen a lot of them. I think the first movie I ever saw as a child was Snow White. And I feel like I fell asleep.
Well, honestly, that one is more boring. She's kind of a blah princess. A lot of the early princesses were kind of blah.
Yeah.
Because of the time in which they were making those movies.
Absolutely.
So I like the Disney Renaissance movies so much better because their female characters have more personality to them.
What are those?
So the Disney Renaissance was basically 1989 to I think 1999.
Okay.
So the first one was Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
And like you see with Ariel, she talks back to her dad. She has her I Want song about wanting to be like a human.
She's a personality.
Yeah, she has a personality. She has goals.
Yeah.
Snow White. What is Snow White's goal in the whole movie? I don't
remember anything. Okay, hold on. She's a girl living with 7 dudes, and then she eats an apple and falls asleep.
Yep.
And that's it. Then she gets kissed and woken up, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Like she sings, someday my prince will come,
horrible.
And it's all about how she wants to fall in love, which is nice, but like that's it. Ariel doesn't just want to be human to get the prince. She wants to be human because she finds them more interesting than mermaids.
Yeah.
Like her desire to be human comes before she ever met Prince Eric. So her her goals, I think, are personally more interesting than Snow White's, who's like, well, someday I'll find my true love.
Do you want to see Justice League?
Let me tell you, I am so on the fence about wanting to see that movie because
I want to waste my money so badly. Like, I know I'm not going to like it, but I want to go see it.
I think we should get a group of people together and just commiserate about the movie.
Let's do it.
Because, Jackson and I went and saw, Batman vs. Superman.
That would be so bad.
The only good part is when Wonder Woman comes out. Yeah. I'm just like, oh, she's going to save the movie. And then she's there for like 10 minutes and I'm like...
It sucks so badly that they're dropping the ball so bad with Justice League. Because apparently it's not good. Like that, the reviews and everyone I've talked to said it's a bad movie. But after Wonder Woman, like this was the chance. Yep. They had a chance to take it back from. Well, I don't know if they'd ever beat Marvel, but not the Marvel movies are amazing because they're good, but they're not amazing. But at least they can make a foothold in the movie industry.
Yeah.
Because they just keep sucking. Suicide Squad was awful.
Oh my gosh.
That looked like it was
so bad.
I mean, I know it was. It was edited by like 20 people or something at the same time. They're like, they cut the movie up into parts and they're like, you edit, and that's why the lighting keeps shifting so like angrily. Like it'll go from like a completely dark scene to like a bright sky, and in the theater everyone's like, Jesus.
I hate it when they do that in movies.
Yeah, and that's the reason, because they had 20 people doing it.
Like, your movie's going to go into theaters. Well, you hope your movie's going to go into theaters. Don't blind your audience because they're not going to like that. They're
making a girl villain movie. DC. It's the Something Sirens, and it's Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and I think Catwoman maybe, or Sable, or not Sable, Black Cat, one of those. Oh no, Black Cat's from Spider-Man, so not Black Cat. But.
I think it's Catwoman. the Gotham Sirens. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
I know
Gotham City Sirens. That's it.
I would watch that.
I
would
too.
absolutely watch that
Well,
because I find Catwoman to be a very interesting character.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's not a full out villain. She's kind of like a pirate, you know. She's on her own side.
Yeah, definitely. She just like wants things and takes them.
Yeah, she'll
Right.
cooperate when it suits her.
Yeah.
Like she's not out to kill people or anything, but she's at the end of the day in it for her.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's often a lot of opportunity for female characters to be like that.
I agree.
So it's nice to see that. And I mean, Catwoman is so iconic. Not to reference the awful Halle Berry movie. That's not iconic. Well, it's iconic for being awful.
It's one of It's
She
well known to be terrible.
She had back-to-back Oscar win and Razzie win.
That's awesome. That's crazy. Has that ever happened before?
I don't know. Like I didn't research it enough, but like she won the Oscar for I think it was Monster Ball, and then a year or two later she won the Razzie for Worst Actress in Catwoman, and she did like a parody of her Oscar win speech apparently.
Oh really?
Yeah. I'm like, good for you. You don't take yourself seriously. Good on you.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. God. That'd be so weird,
right?
To like the high and then the terrible low. Like I doubt she cares.
I preferred if it was flipped. It was like, ha, see, I can do good things as opposed to, well, maybe that was just my one.
Liza Minnelli also has that.
Really?
Yeah.
What did she win the Razzie for?
Because
Because that's all I care about. I don't know what the bad movies are.
The Razzie Rent-A-Cop.
I've never even heard of that movie. I think that says something.
That makes sense.
Because, see, I grew up in a household where my dad loves movies. So even if I've never seen a movie, I might know about it, or at least have heard of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think I've heard that one before.
I was like known before, and you probably knew this actually, that I'd never watched movies. Like I didn't watch any movies, any of the Disney movies before I started hanging out with you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I just I never watched movies.
You've grown so much.
I know.
You
Now I
watch
love them.
movies.
I go to theaters.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of musicals. So, I don't know if anyone here follows the Broadway circuit, but there is a musical that's out right now. It actually premiered last year, I think. It's called Come From Away. It's actually part of the reason I brought my mug.
Oh.
It's all about 9/11.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you knew this story, but when 9/11 happened, there were obviously a whole bunch of planes that were set to land in New York, but they were rerouted because nobody knew what was going on at the time. And they're like, well, it's not safe. We don't know, if other planes are going to get hijacked. So they just rerouted a whole bunch of planes. Some planes were rerouted to this small town in Newfoundland called Gander. And for several days, they took in these complete strangers, fed them, clothed them, gave them security and comfort and everything, and made them feel like part of the family until they got the all clear to go home.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
And some people, because people were flying in from all over the world, so it wasn't just Americans looking to come home, it was like people looking to travel to America or travel on somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So some people on some of the flights set up a scholarship fund as a thank you to the people of Gander. And I think the first recipients were back in 2002. Don't quote me on that day because I might be very, very wrong.
Okay.
But they set up a scholarship fund that has continued since then.
That's sweet.
For students that graduate from high school in Gander.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. The music is so good. And as a Newfoundlander, hearing all of this and, seeing some of the numbers is just... I'm probably going to cry when I actually see it live.
Yeah.
Because even though I didn't live in Gander, you are, if you're a Newfoundlander, you are a Newfoundlander.
Yeah.
And just seeing that these, something like 7,000 people
were
taken in.
That's like the population of Gander.
Something like that. They definitely increased their population size for that brief amount of time.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So when they wrote this musical, they actually went to Gander and interviewed a bunch of the people that...
took people in.
They interviewed the mayor and everything. They interviewed some of the people that had been taken in. And the musical is based off of their stories.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So
That's really cool.
I'm really
I would
excited.
totally see that one.
Yeah, it's touring. I think it is coming to Ottawa maybe next year. I know it's going to Toronto because everything always goes to Toronto first, and then that's how you know stuff's coming to Ottawa. She's like, oh, what's in Toronto right now that's touring? Oh, that'll be here next year.
We better plan for it. Yeah, book vacation time.
Exactly.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That sucks about how everything goes to Toronto. Mm-hmm. I want things to come here because I want things.
I want nice things too, right? I mean, we have the NAC that does get shows in, but you get like the seasons like, oh, here are 3 musicals, and they're kind of all like smushed in back to back.
Yeah.
And it's
you're
like,
well,
great.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
Bands too never come to Ottawa.
No,
they
they
always
don't.
go to Toronto or Montreal.
And we have venues for it. Like we have Lansdowne now.
Yeah.
And
Which is doing the Winter Classic.
we're going to that next week.
That's so cool!
Yeah. That's Jackson's Christmas gift. It's okay, he can see this, he knows it. I had to check to see if he was free.
That makes sense. Who's playing? Is it Ottawa and
Montreal?
That's sweet. That's
Yep.
really good.
And honestly, the tickets are the nicest tickets I've ever seen in my life. I'll have to get a photo and show you. They're like embossed. They're in color.
That's cool.
Like, we're gonna frame these after
That's
because
so
they're
cool.
so nice.
It's the 100th year. Like that's such a good one.
Yeah.
One of my friends is trying to sell his tickets right now because he
Really?
bought tickets and then he also won tickets.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, why would you sell
he's
your
trying
tickets?
he's trying to get rid of 2 right now, and he didn't tell me how much they are, but if they're not that bad, because it'd be awesome,
right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a Habs fan. I'm not a Sens fan. Go Leafs, go! But I still really want to go see this. I'm like, when
I
is
don't
this
know how I
going
feel
to
about
happen
that.
again? Well, you knew that.
I'm fine with it. I like the
ruined
Sabres.
my
They suck.
relationship when he found out.
Oh,
So
really?
we just started being friends, and somebody at work was like, you know that Boone is a Leafs fan, right? He comes bursting out of the kitchen. He's like, what is this about you being a Leafs fan? I'm like, what are you? He's like, I'm a Habs fan. I'm like, I'm not speaking to you for the next 2 hours.
That's hilarious. I've never had that because everyone hates my team, and I
Because you're a Sens
also
fan, right?
no, I'm a Sabres fan.
Oh, okay.
Buffalo is the worst team. My lord, are they bad? Well, I watched 45 minutes of hockey this year, and have seen so many goals scored against Buffalo. It's crazy.
I think that's how Jackson feels about the Habs right now.
so
It's not
sad.
going well.
I'm bad luck. So last year, I think it was last year, whatever year they got Leonard for the first year, I watched the first game. He got injured in the first game, and he was out for like half the season.
Was
or
this
something.
in Ottawa or?
No, I was watching on TV.
Oh, okay.
I was at a bar with Carrie, and and then he got injured, so whatever. The next game I watched, someone else got injured, like an important player. I forget who it was. I think it was Kane. And then when the only 2 games, I like the Carolina Panthers in football. The only 2 games I watched in the year that they made the Super Bowl, they lost. The only 2 games.
Wow.
I just can't watch. I can't watch the teams that I like because I make them lose.
And I felt the same way growing up as a Leafs fan because I noticed because my parents would religiously watch the games every Saturday night. My dad had a ritual. If you were going to watch during the playoffs, on the occasions that the Leafs sometimes made the playoffs.
I mean, they will now. It's great.
Yeah. He would go and buy the cheesy, the puffy cheesies.
Yeah.
And during the first and second period during intermission, he would get up, get himself a bowl of cheesies, and get lime crush soda.
Okay.
And
What is that?
Okay.
Is it like Orange Crush but lime?
It's like but it's lime, and they
Weird.
don't make it in Ontario anymore. But it used to be really common. Like you could get it at convenience stores. Like they didn't sell it in the packs.
Yeah.
But you could get like the 500
milliliter
bottle of
worth,
them,
yeah.
and it's really good. It's really good. But that was only for playoffs because one year, way before he met my mother and before they had me, he did that on a whim, and they won their playoff game. So he's like, this is it. This is the holy grail of good luck.
Did this. I made them win.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
made them win. I'm going to continue to do this. So that was just our tradition. But then I noticed that they seem to do better the games that I didn't watch. Like if I was out of the house or doing homework or
same.
whatever.
That's exactly
and I was
how I
like,
feel.
maybe I should stop watching and they might do better.
Yeah.
And every time Jackson has gone to see a Habs game live, they've lost.
Same with the Sabres. I've never seen them win.
So I don't have good feelings for the Winter Classic because we're going to be right there.
Oh, yeah. That's awful.
Yeah, and I'm like, ooh, it's going to break your heart if they lose in front of you.
And also, they're not doing well.
They're doing so badly. Like,
although they got Price back. He's okay.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
But, they're just not having a good season. Not just like, oh no, it must be so terrible for your team to be so crap right now. Story of my life.
Oh, yeah. At least, we had success. I mean, you guys have won cups and everything, but Buffalo had more recent success than Toronto, except for last season.
Yeah.
Because they were in the playoffs when Ottawa and Buffalo were going out all the time.
Mm.
But Toronto, man, you guys have had a journey. What was that, 7 years or something?
My whole life, man. It's been my whole life. Just one before I die. That's all I want.
Yeah.
And I will parade it in the streets in front of all the Sens fans and Habs fans. Like, booyah, we won! All blue. All blue is what I will
That's
wear.
right. That would, yeah.
Yep, I'll dye my hair blue.
I would join you. I'm not even a Toronto fan, but I would join you for that.
Because we've waited long enough.
I've had so many Ottawa fans just coming at me all the time.
I know.
We were on movies.
We were on movies.
You want to pick another one?
All right, let's pick another one. Plushies!
What is that?
Okay, so stuffed animals
Oh, yeah,
or
right.
stuffed friends. Yeah.
Lori and I have started playing this game called Slime Rancher. So it was free on the Xbox. It's kind of like Minecraft where you make a farm or whatever.
Okay.
But instead they're little slimes and they move around and they're cute. You put them in pens. There's one called a water slime. You don't have to feed it; it just floats around the water and it's happy. Just by doing that. But it gets shy if there are too many around him. So you need to. That's what you got to do with that one. Anyway, doesn't really matter. I'm gonna get her a slime plushie of that because she loves it.
Aww.
I need to find one. No one plays that game because no one's heard of it. But I feel when everyone listens to this and it gets more popular, they'll have to make slime plushies.
Yes. And you'll need to send me a photo of this because that sounds.
Yeah, totally. I will.
So adorable.
We can show you. I mean, it's upstairs.
So, did you have a lot of plushies growing up?
No, one time my brother... This is a good story about my family. It's very funny.
Let's tuck in
my parents forgot my birthday. That's the whole story, really. They forgot my birthday, so I assume. They say they didn't, but...
Sometimes you're like, no.
I got 4 chocolate bars were not wrapped for my birthday. I'm going to assume you forgot about my birthday. I'm just throwing that out there.
Probably a safe bet.
But my brother, he got me The Sims 2 or 3, I forget whichever one it was, and a stuffed gorilla. It was like this big.
Aw.
And I love that gorilla. I had it forever. I had it for years.
Do you still have it?
No, I threw it out. Oh. It was all gross, after having a stuffed animal for years. Because it's a gorilla, so the chest and stuff is all leather, fake, really bad fake leather, and it was all torn up. And he looked like he'd been in World War. He was Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He was one of those.
So I have to confess, I also had a favorite plushie growing up.
Yeah.
Who also looked like absolute crap. She looked like she was molting. Because I would bring her everywhere with me. Her name was Bunny because she was a stuffed bunny.
I thought you were going off the table there. I thought you were she's a lizard, but we called her Bunny.
I was not that clever at the age of 2, but I named her Bunny because that's what she is.
Yeah.
And I would bring her everywhere. And so by the time I was 5 or 6, she was already starting to look really, really ratty. So my parents were like, okay, new rule. You can't bring her everywhere with you anymore. She's only a bedtime friend.
That's cute.
Because I wanted to avoid the whole eventual meltdown that I would have about losing her.
Yeah.
So I would leave her at home, but she really looked all of her, her fur on her belly.
Yeah.
And on her head was just gone.
Oh.
But I loved her.
Oh, that sounds so gross.
Oh man. But we washed her. We would wash her. But it got to a point where I was I'm afraid to wash her anymore because she might fall apart. So that's kind of when the can't bring her everywhere rule was implemented. So she just stayed on my bed, and when I was like 8 or 9, I was a brownie. I don't know if you had any friends who were...
I'm a brownie.
Yeah?
That's all.
Okay, like a Girl Guide brownie?
Right, one of those.
Yeah. So, for anybody who's not in Canada, it's kind of it's sort of like Girl
Cubs
Scouts.
or whatever?
Yeah. But it was for girls. So you were a Spark, and then Brownie, and then a Girl Guide, and then I think a Pathfinder. Like, there's a whole stream.
That sounds like a really cool progression in RPG. You're a Spark, and then you're a Pathfinder.
Yeah. And, like, each one was a different color. So Sparks were pink, Brownies were... I'll let you figure out what color we wore. Girl Guides were blue. Pathfinders, I think, were green.
That makes sense.
So I was a brownie, and I had a uniform you had to wear to every Tuesday brownie meeting, and they also sold brownie dolls. And I was like, oh, that might be fun. But you could also just buy the doll clothes. So my parents actually did that for me for one Christmas, and I'm like, I think these would fit Bunny. So I stuffed Bunny in this brownie outfit, and that is where she remains to this day. I still have her.
That's
I still have her to cover up her balding body.
That's
her
good,
legs
though.
are
That's a
still
good choice.
fine. Her arms are.
Does she have a little brownie hat? I don't know if they had brownie hats.
You could get a brownie hat as a brownie. You could get a brownie hat. A lot of people didn't bother, and you had different outfits that you could wear as a brownie. So there was like a striped shirt that you could wear, or you could wear the full out like khaki like feel dress that was a dark brown.
Yeah.
And I always went for the dress because I was a little lady and I only wanted to wear dresses as a child. So I went with the dress.
I always thought those dresses just looked like paper bags.
Well, yeah. But like there's photos of me like growing up in my brownie uniform, and you got to earn badges and everything.
Yeah, you put them on the sash or
whatever?
Yep,
I had like almost every single badge.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Isn't that hard to do?
I mean, you're 9. They're not going to...
I guess you don't have a job.
Yeah.
You know, you have time.
It was like a little project you had to do. And my mom was very like, okay, so we're going to earn your next brownie badge. I'm like, okay.
Sure. I guess
so
that's
she
what we're
kind of
doing
like
there.
helped me.
Yeah.
If it had been up to me, I don't know if I would have gotten as many badges.
All right, today we're getting another brownie badge. You're like, I got nothing planned.
Okay, sure,
Let's
why not? Why not? So, yeah, and she would sew all my badges on my sash for me.
Oh, that's cute.
And I might still have that somewhere. My dad might have that in storage. That might have been one of the things he got in the divorce. Of all I don't know. I don't actually know. It's hard when you move
I want the brownie sash.
I want it.
They're in court. You just slam on the table.
I'm sure the uniform... I hope they didn't give that away, because that would actually be pretty cool to show my kids one day.
That would be it.
Like, look at what your
do
mom
they still
did.
have that? They do, right?
They must. They must still
It's
have
still
that. I mean, I'm
it
sure
has
the
to.
uniform's different now, because this was like so many years ago.
It's super progressive. It's like, yeah, you can't... No dresses. You can choose whatever you want. Wear whatever clothes you want.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is,
Just
actually.
don't do naked, because, you know, there are child laws against that.
There is. So, we're coming close to end time.
All right.
What do we have to work with?
We have...
Plushies
and movies.
And we talked about musicals.
We did talk about
musicals. I guess we
musicals.
could use that if you want.
Well, I feel like musicals would tie in with movies.
You're right.
Or we could pick a third one if you want to be...
Hockey. I mean, we talked about that.
We're talking about that. I'm terrified about hockey, though. I'm like, yeah, that local sports team.
Alright, so we have the one last thing to end it off.
Alright.
I need a number between 1 and 50.
3.
3. Alright.
I will always pick 3. If somebody says pick a number between this and this, I'm like 3.
Really?
Yep. 3 is my go-to number.
That's pretty good. That's a good choice.
Okay, I like this.
So now we just have to make a song with everything we talked
Okay, so it's going to be movies, plushies, and...
Hockey?
Hockey?
Anything hockey related.
Anything hockey related.
In fact, anything any of these related. If you can work in a movie, go for it.
Okay.
What are those plushies called that have the hearts? They have, like
Care Bears!
No, they're like little Beanie Babies.
Oh, those! Yeah! That were going to be totally worth something one day.
Yeah, it's a good investment. It's a really good investment.
The 90s let me down.
Seriously. Everyone was talking about Beanie Babies. They were the next Bitcoin.
Yeah, we should have invested in Netflix instead.
Yeah. Put all their money into Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies and PT Cruisers, man.
So it was sad. It's sad how downhill that went.
and was it Zune?
Oh yeah, I had a Zune.
My friend had a Zune, and I was like, oh, this is, fine.
I'm gonna pause this for a second. I actually had a Zune, and then it didn't work when I got it, so I traded in for an iPod. That didn't work when I got it, so I went back to the Zune. That didn't work again. Got another iPod, and it did work. And I was like, well, you win, Apple.
I've never owned an iPod ever in my whole life. I've never owned an Apple product in my whole life.
That's crazy.
Yep. Because I'm cheap.
I only got an iPod because every other MP3 player I've ever used sucked.
Yeah. I had a pretty good one. It was like a kidney bean shape. You couldn't fit a ton of stuff on there, but, I could fit it in my pocket. And it was fine. And then I thought, okay, you know what? I'm getting an iPod Nano.
That's what I had. That was the one I was talking
I was all set to get one. And it was going to be the gen where it was like, the longer rectangle with the circle search thing. And then when I finally went in to go buy one, they had discontinued that generation of iPod Nanos, and they were just the little square...
The shuffles or...
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I don't want that.
Suck. I don't know why they made those at all.
It was such a bad idea. Yeah. I want to be able to see the display of what song I'm listening to.
Exactly. I don't want it to be a guessing game. I want to pick what song I want to listen to.
Right? Like, I think they improved the design for the iPod Nanos after, but at that point, everybody started getting smartphones. And
the shuffle now is a small screen. It doesn't even have buttons. And then you just do whatever you want on it.
Well, I have a smartphone now.
Same.
Like, I can just... Why would I carry
I have Spotify.
Things?
It doesn't even matter what phone you have. I have Spotify.
Right?
Or I guess Apple Music people use. But
I guess.
It's not for me.
Yeah, no.
Alright, let's do this.
Alright. Okay.
We can also work in apples.
Okay. Apples. Like
whatever.
Okay. Okay, are we rapping this? Are we singing this?
Maybe one line each, or you could do a full set of lines. However you feel.
Are we? So rhyming is going to be a must.
What? Oh yeah. And when I like the one line each because that's just their problem.
Okay. Or no, I like the idea of doing two, so you rhyme your own.
Okay.
Okay. I got one.
Wow.
I have a stuffed plushie. Her name is Bunny. She wears a brownie uniform and looks quite funny.
That's really good. That's really good. I don't have one yet.
This is also really fast.
We can slow it down.
So I was like, oh man, I'm struggling to get all the words in here.
There you go, a little slower. I'm trying to think of a movie I saw recently. I saw Coco. I mean, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
This is about Dia de los Muertos. That's so bad. I don't know what. This is my podcast. Why did I input this dumb game? What was the other one? Hockey and what was
and
it?
Movies.
And apples. Apples. This is too slow now, I feel. Yeah.
That's good.
That's I like to drink Snapples. My favorite flavor is apples. That's it. That's the whole rhyme. You got it. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Okay, so we have to work in movies somehow, right?
Oh yeah, we didn't do a movie.
Okay, so we got plushies. We did the apples thing. Cool. So just gotta figure out movies.
Damn it.
Have you seen The Room? It's quite bad, but I'm gonna go see Disaster Artist, which will make me glad. That did not go rhythmically at all.
That went great for me. Alright, everyone. Thanks for watching. We'll be on later. And, yeah, Listen.
Not Brad.
Remember that.